When you pay this month's bills, you start worrying about next month's bills. When you pay this semester's fees, you start worrying about next semester's fees. You understand? So we only think about the future when our immediate concerns are taken care of. Allah understands who we are. So Allah says, Ar-Rahman, here, I took care of your immediate concern. But when your immediate concern is taken care of, where does your mind go? Into the future. He says, Ar-Rahim, I'll take care of your future too. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Subhanallah. And now in Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, when Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, what a genius. He was asked, what does it mean? He said, Ar-Rahman is for this world and Ar-Rahim is for the Muslims in the next life. He just said one brief statement. Ar-Rahman is for this world and Ar-Rahim is for the next life. And you understand the genius of this man because he saw something. He saw that this world is temporary. And which name is temporary? Ar-Rahman. And he saw that one name is permanent. And which life is permanent? Next life. Subhanallah. He just sees it right away. The Sahaba saw it right away. It takes me 25 minutes to explain it to you. But they just saw it. They didn't need to have this long explanation of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. I promised you a 2-minute break, so I'm going to give it to you now. I'm counting. I'm going to count to 120. Don't come up and ask for pictures. Not yet. Because then it won't stop and then we won't be able to do this stuff. We got a lot to cover. We only got through Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim so far. You guys doing okay though? You guys doing all right? Okay, so do your stretching and whatever you do in Singapore. Take 2 minutes. I'm just afraid of the loudness. It's too loud. Okay. Alrighty. How was your break? Long and stretchy. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Thumma amma ba'd. What was the last thing we talked about? Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Let's move further. I'm going to give you a silly example from my career. Where did I used to do? What did I used to teach? What did I tell you? Elementary school? You know, in the school that I started working at, I was the youngest teacher. All the other teachers were aunties and they were a lot older than me. And they were very tough with the kids. They walked in and the children, they put the fear of God in them. Okay? Now I'm kind of a goofy person, so when I got my job as a teacher, I went in the first day of class and I'm telling jokes and I'm showing them like crazy tricks, like I'm sticking things in one ear and pulling them out of the other ear, and like I'm doing all kinds of silly things and telling them stories and all this stuff. The first day of class, I still remember when I was leaving class, everybody was like, no, don't go. And that's not because they loved me, because the auntie was coming. That's the more the reason. But still, they like really enjoyed being in my class because I was joking around with them a lot. Right? And I was like, why are these teachers so uptight? Why do they make it so hard for these kids to have a good time in class? You know, why can't they just be friends with them? And all the other experienced teachers, they said, so what'd you do in class today? So I said, we had so much fun. We laughed, we played, did you teach anything? No, we can do that a little later. I want to, be friends with them first. And they all said, you'll find out. They just kind of that evil laugh. And I was like, yeah, no, it's never going to happen. So a couple of days go by, I'll go into the class, and I'm starting to teach the class, and nobody wants to sit down in their chair. Tell us a story. Do that thing with your ear. And they're fighting with each other, and one guy's like taking the other guy's pencil, and they're drawing things. And I still remember one kid was on the back wall writing his name. And he was looking straight at me. And the friend next to him said, hey, I think he sees you. And he said to him, yeah, but he's a nice guy. And he kept going. Then I realized something. When you only show love and mercy and love and mercy and love and mercy, then is it possible that people take advantage of that? Okay. I'll give you a little bit of another example. This is a kind of a silly example, but I think it'll get the point across. Imagine that there's another master and a slave. The master says, look, you're my slave, but I don't want you to do all kinds of work. I have very little requirements. All I want you to do is, here's a fence. It's not even a fence, it's just a line with chalk. Just don't go on the other side of it. Just stay on the inside, don't go on the outside. Don't step on the outside. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Did you find your... He made it, okay. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Just don't step outside this line, that's all I'm asking. So the slave is basically free, but inside a circle. You understand? It's a pretty wide circle. It's like a few acres. Okay, so he can do whatever he wants. So one day he's going, and the slave is kind of close to the line, and he slips. And he falls on the other side. And the master is watching. He's sitting on a chair on the porch. He's watching. Where does the slave look immediately when he falls on the other side? He checks if the boss was watching, if the master was watching. And the master's still sitting on the chair. No problem. The master didn't say anything. He just sat there. So the slave got up and dusted himself off and went back inside. The next day, the slave he was near the fence and he pretended to fall. And he looked again, and the master's still sitting in his chair. He didn't say anything. The next day, he stopped pretending. He just kind of put one foot on the line and checked. And the master said nothing. Pretty soon, he's walking, one foot on the outside, one foot on the inside. A few months go by, and he spends most of the time on the outside. And every once in a while, he checks in with the master. Hey, how you doing? And the master's like, no problem, living a happy life. Then one day, the master calls him. Hey, come here. Okay, he comes there. He goes, remember when we first met? I told you don't cross that line. He goes, yeah, you told me. I remember that. He goes, yeah, well, you started crossing it. You did it by mistake once, but then you started doing it pretending to make a mistake, but you were doing it on purpose. And then you started doing it more and more, and then you started spending most of your time on the other side of the line. And I've been keeping record. I mean, I didn't say anything to you, but I've been keeping record. And here's the record. You crossed the line 5,680 times. And I'm going to whip you for each of those today. You know what that is? That is a master saying, you took advantage of my mercy. And you forgot that I have a right to judge you. I will show you mercy so long as you don't try to take advantage of me. You don't try to make a joke out of my guidance. But I'm not really talking about a master and a lion in the circle, in the lawn. I'm not talking about that, am I? I'm talking about us and Allah. So if you only have Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, then people will take advantage. And so Allah says, not just Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, He puts us back in check. He says, Maliki Yawmiddin. He's the master of the day of judgment. Now this is the easy translation, master of the day of judgment. I'll talk to you a little bit about it because there's so much more we have to cover tonight. The word Malik, actually I'll talk to the word Malik later. I'll talk to you about justice first. Allah says He's the master of the day of judgment. Judgment here is deen. Deen in Arabic actually means precise dealing or accurate dealing. They say in Arabic, kama tadinu tudanu. The way you deal with someone, that's how they will deal with you. In other words, this is an ayah about dealing with you with justice. What we are learning in this ayah is a very powerful philosophy of Islam. You only have two ways that you will be dealt with on Judgment Day. There's only two possibilities. Either you will get Allah's love and mercy, or you would get Allah's justice. Allah did not say you will either get mercy or punishment. That's not what I'm saying. Allah did not say either you will get mercy and love or anger. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you will either get love and mercy on the one hand, and what's the bad option? Justice. Justice. You have to understand what that means. Traveling in the United States, sometimes I think about the ayat in strange ways. When you travel, You go through security. And in like the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003, it was really tight security in American airports. So they make you take your shoes off, they make you take your jacket off, belts, watch, everything, and they go through everything, and they give you a pat down, all of this stuff, right? So one day, I'm traveling at the airport, and the security officer looks clearly tired. He's just like, so I go through the little bar thing, I go through it, and he doesn't stop me. He doesn't say, "Sir, could you step to the side? I'm going to give you a special Muslim treatment." Like, he doesn't do that. I was confused. He didn't stop me and check me extra. So I just did this. But you know what I thought of? Hisaban yasira. Allah Azza wa Jalla on the Day of Judgment, people will have a book in their right hand, some people will have a book on their left hand, and the book has what in it? What does the book have in it? All of our deeds. Now, when have you ever taken your test paper to the teacher? Right? And sometimes the teacher just puts it in his bag, but sometimes the teacher says, "Stay right there, I'll grade it right now." You ever have that? You're standing at the desk and your teacher's checking your exam. It is the most stressful thing you will ever do in your life. Because as soon as the red pen gets close to the paper, you just start going like, oh. Right? Allah Azza wa Jal, even if He gives you the book in the right hand, just because you have the book in the right hand doesn't mean it's been graded yet. You have to open the pages and check the assignment. And if you're like me, I'm thinking maybe I should bookmark it. If you check page 35, there's a Laylatul Qadr in there. If you just get that first, and if the Hajj I think is page 80. If you look at page 80, if you could skip these pages, they're kind of page 80 is good. Students do that. Like they kind of make you want to skip the bad assignment and they want to show you the good work. But Allah Azza wa Jalla, so people are nervous and they're about to show their books to the angels. And the angels, يَتَجَاوَزُونَ عَنْهُمْ, the hadith tells us they're just going to say, "It's okay, just go. It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to show me page 80. It's okay, you can go, sir. It's fine." It's like you're going to the security officer to show him your passport. He goes, you're like, "Really? I can just go? That means you passed. That means you graduated. You got to the other side." When you get to the other side, the guy is so happy. The guy with the book in the right hand, he goes, "Ha, umuqra'u kitabiya. Hey, look at what I got. Look at my score." When people get a bad grade, and I used to do this back in the first year when I started teaching the Arabic program. I used to have the exams and I used to call people's names. And I used to have them come up to the front of the class and I used to hand in their exams and then they walk back, the walk of shame, back to their seat. Now when students do really badly on an exam, what do they do with the paper as soon as they get it? They fold it up. And the people who got 100 on the test, their paper falls out of their hand accidentally. "Oh, excuse me." The guy who got through security on Judgment Day says, "Hey, check out my book. إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَ." I knew I was going to get a great score. I knew I was going to meet my reward. Subhanallah. Now the guy on the left hand, the guy's got a book in his left hand, and the Quran describes وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ, behind his back. So you got a bad report card, and you don't even know how bad it is, because it's behind your back. And the guy behind you sees it, goes, "Oh man." And you're like, what? I can't see it. Now they show their book. They show their book. And are the angels going to say, no, it's okay, just go? No, they're going to open that book. They're going to go line by line. And the Prophet described, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, إِنَّهُ مَنْ سُئِلَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَقَدْ هَلَكَ. Someone who got asked even once on Judgment Day is done. If you get asked even once, in other words, if the angel stops you and says, "Sir, excuse me, let me see that book for a second. What is that? What is that on Thursday? Where were you? What is that place? What is this club here? What is that substance you're drinking? What is the amount you drank? Who are these friends you're with? Are these halal friends? No, it doesn't look like they're halal on the record. Oh man, it's all on record with video footage. You know, وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. They'll see what they did standing in front of them. If that record comes out, you're done. But will that record be unfair? No. On Judgment Day, there are people who Allah shows love to and mercy to and says, I'm not even going to open your book. Just go. It's okay. Just go. And there are people who Allah says open their book and they get Allah's judgment. It's two things. Either mercy or judgment. We want Allah's mercy. We want His love on Judgment Day. That's what we want. But if we take advantage of it, wallahi, people take advantage of it. There are people who get into haram ways of earning money. Clearly wrongdoing. They go into bad company. They eat the haram thing. They drink the haram thing. They smoke the haram thing. You know, they watch the haram thing. They do the haram thing. And then they say, but Allah is loving. Allah is so merciful. It's so awesome. It's okay. Allah is not going to make a big deal out of it. You're trying to take advantage of Allah's mercy. He doesn't take lightly to that. He does not take lightly to that. Allah balanced both things. On the one hand, His love is beyond imagination. It is always going to be there for you. His mercy will always be there for you. And on the other hand, don't you think for 1 second that you will get to just use Allah's love and mercy to take advantage of Him and do whatever you want. Don't you start thinking like that, because that will disqualify you from Allah's mercy. SubhanAllah. It's a balance between both of those things. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim on the one hand, Maliki Yawmiddin on the other hand. Now I'm not going to go into more detail tonight with these three ayat, but I will tell you this. This is now we're getting to my favorite part of this session. These three ayat, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and what? Maliki Yawmiddin, are the most complete introduction to Allah in the Quran. What every human being needs to know about God is in these three ayat. That's all you need. That's all you need. Somebody says, what is your God in Islam like? What do you believe about Him? You just need three ayat of Fatiha. The first thing He told us about Him is He deserves praise and thanks. The second thing He told us about Him is that He's our master. The third thing He told us about Himself is like He's not like any other master. He has extreme love for you, extreme mercy for you. And the last thing He told us about Himself is just don't think His extreme love and mercy can be taken advantage of. He will deal with some people justly if they do wrong to Him. If they continuously do wrong to Him. SubhanAllah. It's enough. It's complete. But at the end of it all, what is the relationship we have with Allah? I told you this already. What's the primary relationship we have with Allah? That He is master. We are slave. That's the relationship. If someone truly understands this introduction to Allah, then necessarily they reach a conclusion. That conclusion is Iyaka na'budu. That is the conclusion. Iyaka na'budu. It is only and only you that we give ourselves to willingly into slavery. Now let's talk about slavery. Has slavery ever been willing or unwilling? What's the usual form of slavery? Willing or unwilling? Unwilling. Nobody says, hey, I'm looking at different career options. I kind of enjoy long chains on my feet and, Nobody applies for the slave job. You understand? Slavery is never done willingly. In my crazy example, yes, you came up to me and said, hey, you're my slave. I was like, okay, let's do this. That was willing, but that doesn't normally happen, does it? There is no more powerful master than Allah. And here's the other thing about all other masters. Usually slaves love their master or hate their master. They hate their master. The first chance they get, they will want to get freedom. And even if they praise their master, is it real or genuine or fake? It's fake. But the surah began with Alhamdulillah. It's real, genuine praise for this master. How can that be? It is because this master did not force you to be a slave. You have to come to that conclusion yourself. That's why he didn't even say U'budullah. Be slaves to Allah. We said, Iyaka na'budu. We give ourselves to you in slavery. We are ready. We made the choice. We will ourselves. We will ourselves into slavery. It's incredible.